In this class, we will discuss on black body radiation spectrum. Black body radiation spectrum, or the characteristics of the black body, laid the foundation stone of quantum mechanics, and this is the particular thing which could not be explained with the laws of classical mechanics, and then the necessity of new quantum mechanics was there. And as you know, necessity is the mother of invention, and after the failure of the classical mechanics to describe the black body radiation spectrum, quantum mechanics evolved. So the objective of this class or the lecture will be to recap the black body radiation spectrum. We will try to describe the black body radiation spectrum with the help of classical mechanics first, and try to see that where the classical mechanic lags, then how the new generation mechanics or quantum mechanics evolved, that we will try to understand. First, we will start from the particle nature of radiation or corpusculous nature of radiation. As you know, after the discovery of photoelectric effect or Compton effect, the discussion between photon and electron, and the collision and energy transfer between them was established. And it was first the thing where we predicted that light is having particle nature. Unless it is having the particle nature, it cannot collide with the particle like electron. It is colliding with electron, that from we guess that light is having some particle nature of radiation. And this is point to ponder. We'll come to this point later. Now we'll come to directly black body radiation and emissive power and absorptive power of black body. What is black body radiation spectrum? Suppose I am having a black body. First, we have to have the definition of the black body. I will come to the definition from emissive power and absorptive power. First, let us understand what is emissive power. Emissive power of any black body or any kind of radiator at a certain temperature T and particular wavelength lambda is defined as the energy radiated in vacuum from its unit surface area per unit time per unit wavelength range, and this emissive power is generally written in the form of E lambda. And also we have another quantity, absorptive power. This is expressed as A lambda. Unlike emissive power, in absorptive power we have to understand the amount of energy or power absorbed by the body per unit time per unit wavelength range. How to calculate the value of A lambda? A lambda absorptive power can be calculated as Q prime by Q, where Q prime is the amount of radiation absorbed by the body and Q is the total radiation falling on the body. There is one law to describe or find the relationship between this emissive power and absorptive power. This is known as Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's law tells that the emissive power to absorptive power, the ratio, the E lambda and A lambda, is a constant, and it depends on the temperature only. Otherwise, it is a constant quantity. And now, if we consider that for a black body, what will be the difference? By the definition of the black body is a particular body which absorbs all the heat radiation falling on it for all wavelength limit and does not transmit or radiate anything. So, if any black body which is absorbing everything but not transmitting or radiating anything, for that particular thing, the value of A lambda, that is the absorptive power, Q prime by Q, that will be equals to unity. So we can write for black body A lambda equals to 1. So for black body, the value of E lambda equals to K, that we can easily understand from the calculation. So mathematically, if we now trying to define the definition of black body, we can term that for a particular body or any radiator for which the emissive power is equals to unity, sorry, emissive power equals to constant, and it is the constant depends upon only the temperature, these kind of bodies are called black body. Theoretically we can describe it more easily, that any body which can absorb heat radiation of all wavelength falling on it and does not transmit or reflect anything, that will be known as a perfect black body. Now, a perfect black body, you can find out the example in reality. In reality, generally perfect black body is not possible, that whose absorptive power will be equals to unity, it will absorb everything, but still you can have some experimental realization of black body. Suppose I am having one metal cylinder with some narrow hole inside, and just in the opposite direction of the narrow hole I am having some prism kind of thing. Suppose any incident radiation is coming inside and it is incidenting on the prism, it will suffer multiple reflection in the wall of the metallic hollow sphere, and there is very less probability that again it will penetrate out through this narrow hole. Inside of this metal sphere, generally it is polished with lamp black in order to make it a good absorber. So the heat radiation which is absorbed by the this metallic sphere will be residing inside the metal sphere after multiple reflection also. It will not radiate out. So this can be one practical realization of black body. And there are some characteristics of the black body, looking at which you can define that this is a good black body or not. The characteristics of the black body, I will just read it out one by one. Number one, the characteristics, its energy density doesn't depend upon the shape, size or dimension, depends upon the temperature of the enclosure for a perfect black body. The energy density of a black body doesn't depend upon the shape, if it is be big, if it is be small, whatever it be, it doesn't depend on its shape, size, it only depends upon the temperature of the enclosure. Number two, the radiation radiated by the black body is isotropic and homogeneous. Suppose this is the black body, it is radiating some radiation, and the radiation emitted will be isotropic and homogeneous. That means if you are having the radiation density in this direction, that direction, this direction, that direction, everywhere it will be uniform. And next point importantly, that if you place any body inside the black body, suppose I have placed this particular thing inside the black body, it will also behave as a black body. Okay, so these are the characteristics of the black body. Now the black body radiation spectrum. Suppose now I am heating a particular black body, and I am taking the radiation coming out of the black body. If you heat this particular black body, apply heat, it will radiate energy, and if you now plot the energy radiated by the black body in such a way that in the y-axis you are plotting the value of E lambda, and in the x-axis you are plotting lambda, you are going to get a diagram like this. For a particular temperature, say T1, for another temperature T2, the curve will be like this, it will not touch. For another temperature T3, the curve will be like this. This is for T2 say, and this is for T3, where T1 is greater than T2 greater than T3, like this. And if you find the peak position, it is shifting towards the lower wavelength range with increase in temperature. Instead of that, if you plot the same graph in terms of frequency E nu and this direction nu, the graph will look same. This will be also for T1, this is T2 and this is T3, but here T1 is less than T2 less than T3, as this frequency and wavelength, these are inversely proportional to each other. Now the thing is that you have to describe the black body radiation spectrum. If I now try to describe the black body radiation spectrum, that what kind of spectrum I am getting when the black body is being heated, I can describe in terms of wavelength that with increase in wavelength, the energy density is increasing, it is reaching a maximum value, then decreasing again for any temperature. Again for temperature T2, with increase in the value of lambda, the energy density is increasing, reaching a maximum value, then decreasing. Now you have to describe this particular curve or particular graph with the help of the laws available with you. More importantly, if you look at the E lambda versus lambda curve, another anomaly is associated with this curve, that is the value of this Emax or maximum energy density, or you can find it, suppose I am getting this at a particular temperature T1, the value of E lambda is equals to E lambda max when lambda tending to lambda max. Can I write it? It is okay. So this is for suppose this particular temperature, so I can write it as lambda 1, the second one to be lambda 2, third one to be lambda 3. What I am getting that the maxima, the position of the maxima is shifted towards the lower wavelength range with increase in temperature. When the temperature is maximum for T1, it is for lower wavelength range. With increase in temperature, it is being shifted to higher wavelength range. Okay, so actually what I am getting from this curve, I am getting the value of this lambda m, it is inversely proportional to temperature. That is another characteristics of the black body radiation spectrum. So I am getting two characteristics mainly, that is when increase in the value of lambda, the energy density is increasing, reaching a maximum value, then decreasing again. And another thing, the maxima is inversely proportional to the temperature. Now you have to explain it with the laws you have available already with you. So trial first, trial 1. Trial 1, we will try that how many laws on this radiation or absorptive power, emissive power, or anything we have available by the laws of classical mechanics. The first available trial is Wien's radiation formula or Wien's distribution law. Wien's radiation formula or Wien's distribution law. Wien's distribution law, the mathematical form of Wien's distribution law is that the energy density of radiation within the wavelength range lambda and lambda plus d lambda, a small wavelength range, is explained as E lambda d lambda equals to a by lambda to the power 5 e to the power minus b by lambda t d lambda. It is Wien's distribution law. Now with that particular law, if you try to fit the curve will be fitted only in the low wavelength region. The black body radiation spectrum looks like this, E lambda and lambda. With this Wien's distribution law, if you try to fit it, it will be fitted only in the low wavelength region. This is Wien's law. Okay, so it failed actually. But with that, Wien gave another formula to explain one particular characteristics of the black body radiation spectrum. That is called Wien's displacement law. Wien's displacement law, what he told? He told that the value of lambda m is inversely proportional to t. From the law it is okay. So the value of lambda m into t is a constant. And this law is known as Wien's displacement law. Why it is called displacement law? Because by this law he tried to mean that the value of lambda max, these are the values of lambda max. Suppose this is lambda m1, this is second one is lambda m2, third one is lambda m3. The value of lambda max is shifted towards the lower wavelength range with increase in temperature. So the value is displaced or shifted. That is why this law is called displacement law. Okay, but actually the Wien's radiation formula that was available with us, the classical formula, that failed. So second trial, that will be with Rayleigh-Jean's law. Trial 2. Rayleigh-Jean's formula, Rayleigh-Jean's law. According to Rayleigh-Jean's law, the energy density of radiation within the wavelength range lambda and lambda plus d lambda is equals to E lambda d lambda equals to 8 pi kt by lambda to the power 4 d lambda, like this. With this formula, if you try to fit this curve, the blackbody radiation spectrum, only the curve will be fitted in the higher wavelength region, like this. This is RJ law. So as a whole, we couldn't find till now any particular law which can fit totally the blackbody radiation spectrum. Nevertheless, Rayleigh-Jean's law also did one catastrophe, that is called ultraviolet catastrophe or disaster. Disaster means catastrophe, or it is not ultraviolet. Ultraviolet means the value of, when the value of lambda, that is wavelength, is very small, that particular range is called the ultraviolet range, and that is why it is called ultraviolet catastrophe. What it is? Ultraviolet catastrophe, from this particular formula, this formula couldn't fit the total blackbody radiation spectrum correctly. It made another disaster. That is, by this particular law, if you look at this particular law, if the value of lambda is tending to 0, look, if the value of lambda is tending to 0, the value of E lambda, that should be tending to infinity, infinitely high, by this particular law. But look at this curve. According to this curve, that is the empirical law, that we have acquired data empirically and then we have plotted the graph. From this particular curve, if we put the value of lambda to be very small lambda, by this curve we are getting, when lambda tending to 0, E lambda tending to 0. Look at the fallacy. By the classical law, we are getting lambda tending to 0, E lambda infinity. By practice or practical data acquiring, after plotting the graph, we are getting just opposite to that, E lambda tending to 0. That is called the catastrophe. That is, classical law totally failed. Not only it failed, but also it gave totally wrong value, disastrous value, to fit the blackbody radiation spectrum. That is why it is called ultraviolet catastrophe. Why it is called catastrophe? That before that, all the classical laws were suitable to describe the physical phenomena available in nature. But this is the first failure of classical mechanics, and this laid the foundation stone of quantum mechanics. We have another trial. I will call it trial 3. Another law is available with us, that is called Stephan's law. Stephan's law of radiation. What Stephan's law of radiation tells, that the emissive energy is proportional to the fourth power of temperature, and if you introduce one equality sign, you will be getting E prime equals to sigma t to the power 4, where sigma is the Stephan's constant. But that radiation formula also couldn't fit the blackbody radiation spectrum suitably. So now, till now, what we understood, that classical laws faced the failure to describe the blackbody radiation spectrum. Though it was not very new thing, blackbody radiation spectrum is very simple thing. What we did experimentally, we have heated one particular blackbody, energy radiated from it, we have acquired the energy density of radiation in different direction for different wavelength lambda, we have plotted it experimentally. But this experimental curve was not explained by the laws of classical mechanics available. Now we understood that one new type of physics will be required to describe this kind of phenomena. So from there, new mechanics started, that is called quantum mechanics. Max Planck laid the foundation stone of quantum mechanics in the year 1900. Therefrom, we will start Planck's law of radiation. It is 1900, the year. Max Planck, he started from the understanding of Bose-Einstein statistics, and considering the Bose-Einstein statistics, he first successfully described the blackbody radiation spectrum with some postulates. There are some postulates. Number one postulate, I am just reading it out, the postulates and not writing. First postulate is that all bodies placed inside the blackbody will radiate blackbody radiation, or all behave as blackbody. Second thing, the atoms in the inner wall of the blackbody will behave as simple harmonic oscillators. And the third point, number 3, the energy of the oscillator will be quantized, and it will be equals to E equals to n h nu, where n is the integer, the value of n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, dot dot dot, etc., and nu is the frequency of vibration, and h is the Planck constant. And number 4, the oscillator can absorb or radiate energy in form of quanta, that is 0 or h nu or 2 h nu or 3 h nu, etc. In between them, no energy state is possible. So if I now understand that the oscillator is having several energy states, suppose this is the ground state energy state 0, then the first excited state will be h nu, second excited state will be twice h nu, and so on. Like that. So if you are having the jump between two consecutive energy states, you are having the energy radiation h nu. If you are having jump between these two energy states or that two energy state whatsoever, it will be either integer of h nu or multiple value of h nu, either 2h nu, 3h nu, 4h nu, etc. Okay, it was the Planck's hypothesis. So any energy state or any energy value in between this, suppose 5h nu and 6h nu, this particular thing is not possible. This is abundant. That is called energy is quantized. It is not continuous as it was in case of classical mechanics. That is the new in mechanics we started now. It is quantum mechanics. The first consideration in quantum mechanics, the energy is quantized. Now if we consider that n be the total number of oscillator with and E be the energy, suppose n is the total number of oscillator and E is the total energy. So average energy per oscillator, this we will call, suppose it is epsilon bar will be equals to E by capital N. We have to get this value, E by capital N. Now consider if N0, N1, N2, N3 dot dot dot, etc. are the oscillators with energy 0, epsilon, twice epsilon, 3 epsilon, 4 epsilon dot dot dot, etc., where epsilon is the smallest energy consideration that we are considering between two consecutive states, epsilon equals to h nu, that is h nu, 2h nu, 3h nu, 4h nu, etc. Then we can write the value of n equals to n0 plus n1 plus n2 plus n3 plus n4 plus dot dot, etc. Now according to Bose-Einstein statistics or BE statistics, you can calculate the value of n. Also you can write the total energy E. E will be equals to 0 into first energy state 0 into n0 plus epsilon into n1 plus twice epsilon into n2 plus 3 epsilon into n3 plus dot 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 dot, etc. According to this BE statistics or Bose-Einstein statistics, what do you know? According to Bose-Einstein statistics, we know that the value of n equals to n0 into e to the power minus E by kT. E is the energy difference between these two consecutive energy states. N0 is the number of atoms in the ground state, and N is the number of any atoms in any excited state E at temperature K. This is as per the Bose-Einstein statistics. So if we now apply this knowledge, this particular knowledge here, while calculating the value of this N or E or whatsoever, how we will calculate? First we will put the value of N. If from this equation I am getting the value of N, first value is N0, second value N1 in terms of N0. We can write it N0 e to the power minus epsilon by kT. Second, the N2 in terms of this, it will also be N0 e to the power minus 2i epsilon by kT plus N0 e to the power minus 3 epsilon by kT plus dot 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 etc. I hope it is easily gettable. No problem with this calculation. Just I am applying this law. The energy difference is 2i epsilon, energy difference here is 3i epsilon, and so on. So this will be finally N0 common, then I am getting 1 plus x square plus dot dot etc. For the value of x I am considering e to the power minus epsilon by kT. So finally I am writing it as N0 into 1 by 1 minus x. Fine. Similarly, from this calculation I can get the value of E. The value of E that I can write, first value is 0, second value epsilon into N0 e to the power minus epsilon by kT, then twice epsilon e to the power minus twice epsilon by kT plus dot dot etc. Now if you take common epsilon N0 e to the power minus epsilon by kT, if you take this term common, first term will be 1 plus twice x plus 3x square plus dot dot etc. Binomial, then you will be getting epsilon N0 e to the power minus epsilon by kT whole divided by 1 minus x whole square, like this. Simple calculation. Then the final step is waiting. We have to calculate the value of the average energy per oscillator. So average energy per oscillator, that will be epsilon bar, that will be equals to E by that I have already written, E by N. Calculate the value, just putting the value of E and N, you will be getting epsilon e to the power minus epsilon by kT whole divided by 1 minus e to the power minus epsilon by kT. Just I have put the value of x was equals to e to the power minus epsilon by kT, putting the value of x only. So finally you are getting epsilon, dividing all throughout by this term, you are getting epsilon, then e to the power epsilon by kT minus 1. Okay, so keep it preserved. We got average energy per oscillator, then we have to multiply it with the average number of oscillator within the particular wavelength range or frequency range, then we will be getting the energy density of radiation. So the value of average energy per oscillator is already calculated. The value of epsilon, you can write the value of epsilon equals to h nu, you can put it here. So finally you will be getting h nu divided by e to the power h nu by kT minus 1, like this kind of term you are getting. So now I have to calculate the number of oscillators within the number of oscillators within the wavelength range lambda and lambda plus d lambda. This we can calculate easily. To calculate this, we have to take the help of phase space. That in statistical mechanics we will again go through. Suppose I am considering three different axes x, y and z. I am considering it to be the momentum space, and in the momentum space I am considering any particular this particular value of p momentum and a small increment in p dp. I want to calculate the number of particles within the momentum range p and p plus dp, or confined within the space p and p plus dp. So I am drawing two concentric circles. So the volume of this space confined within the momentum space p and p plus dp, the volume will be equals to 4 pi p square dp. Now the density of state, if you calculate the density of state, it will be equals to 4 pi p square dp divided by h cube. Okay, so this is nothing but the number of energy states per unit volume. Now if you know the value, the number of energy states per unit volume, the value of Gp dp, like this, you can convert this in terms of lambda also, or you can convert this in terms of nu also. How? We know from L-the-Broglie hypothesis p equals to h by lambda. So you can write it as h nu by c. So the value of dp, from that you can calculate the value of p square, and the value of dp also you can calculate. The value of dp equals to h by c d nu. Putting the value, this is generally written as gp dp, and if you want to calculate the value of g nu d nu, you will end up with the calculation like 4 pi nu square d nu divided by c cube. Now for two states of polarization, we will write the value, it will be multiplied by 2, g nu d nu, the value will be 8 pi nu square d nu by c cube. Okay, now I can come back to the calculation where I calculated already the value of average energy per oscillator. Now I have calculated total number of oscillator within that particular frequency range, nu and nu plus d nu. So we can now calculate the energy density of radiation. And the energy density of radiation, that will be equals to E nu d nu will be equals to, if you put this, multiply this one by that one, you will be getting 8 by h nu cube by c cube into 1 by to the power h nu by kt minus 1 d nu. In terms of lambda, if you write, it will be writing E lambda d lambda equals to 8 by hc divided by lambda to the power 5 into 1 by e to the power hc by lambda kt minus 1 d lambda, like this. And these are nothing but the Planck's law of radiation. And if you now feed this Planck's law of radiation with blackbody radiation spectrum, which was like that, E lambda and lambda, it will totally fit with the blackbody radiation spectrum mathematically. If you know the idea of MATLAB or any software which can plot the graph, you can try it at home, that feed this equation and try what will be the nature of this equation. You will see the nature of the equation will be exactly like this. It will have a peak, then shadow both the sides. So if the Planck's law of radiation is true quantum mechanically, then only the thing is that we have considered 2-3 new things with this quantum mechanics. So is it possible to get back to classical mechanics from quantum mechanics now? if we withdraw the considerations. Let's try. Let's see, can we get back to Wien's law from Planck's law? Of course, it is Wien's displacement law. What was Wien's displacement law? It is, we are going to first calculate the distribution law. Distribution law, Wien's distribution law, what it was? E lambda d lambda equals to a by lambda to the power 5 e to the power minus d by lambda t d lambda. That was Wien's distribution law. Let us try it from Planck's law of radiation. The Planck's law of radiation, just before some time I have written E lambda d lambda equals to 8 pi hc divided by lambda to the power 5 into e to the power into 1 by e to the power hc by lambda kt minus 1 d lambda. This was the Planck's law of radiation in terms of wavelength. Now if I consider, let the value of hc by lambda kt, it is much greater than 1. Consider this, it is much greater than 1. This is possible only when the value of T is very small. T small, very small temperature, it is possible. The value of T is small, this value is very high. If this value is very high, e to the power some high value, okay, minus 1, so we can ignore this minus 1. So finally you will be ending up with 8 pi hc by lambda to the power 5 e to the power minus hc by lambda kt d lambda. So look, you can write it in the form of a by lambda to the power 5 into e to the power minus b by lambda t d lambda, where the value of a equals to what? A equals to 8 by hc and the value of b equals to hc by k. Okay, so we can go back to Wien's law, that is Wien's distribution law from Planck's law. Let's see, can we get back to Rayleigh-Jean's law? Rayleigh-Jean's law from Planck's law now. What Rayleigh-Jean's law was? E lambda d lambda equals to 8 pi kt by lambda to the power 4 d lambda. Now in contrary, we considered here the value of hc by lambda kt, it is much greater than 1. Now we consider it is much less than 1. So what we will be getting for this value, this particular thing, what we will be getting for this particular thing, if it is hc by lambda kt is much less than 1, you consider this to be the value of this hc by lambda kt, you consider this to be x. So for this particular term, what you can write? E to the power x minus 1. So expand e to the power x, e to the power x will be 1 plus x square by 2 plus dot etc. Neglecting higher terms, you will be only getting 1 plus x. Okay, so already you are getting 1 minus 1, so minus 1 plus 1 cancels, only you are getting x. So if so, you can write E lambda d lambda, that will be equals to 8 pi hc by lambda to the power 5, then only the value of x. So if you are writing only the value of x here, you will be getting lambda kt by hc d lambda. Look, one lambda cancels out, you are getting finally 8 pi kt by lambda to the power 4 d lambda. This is nothing but Rayleigh-Jean's law. So we can get back to Rayleigh-Jean's law from Planck's law also. Now another important part, can we get back to Wien's displacement law from Planck's law? Means displacement law, what it was? Lambda m into t equals to a constant. So let's see. First start from E lambda d lambda equals to 8 pi hc by lambda to the power 5 into 1 by e to the power hc by lambda kt minus 1 d lambda. It was Planck's law of radiation in terms of wavelength. Now we want to get the maximum value of this MEC power or the energy density of radiation. We want to maximize it, the energy density of radiation. If we want to maximize the value of E lambda, we have to minimize this value. This lambda to the power 5 into this value, we have to minimize this one because this is at bottom. So we have to get the minimum value of lambda to the power 5 into e to the power hc by lambda kt minus 1. It should be minimum. Minimum in order to E lambda to be maximum. It is fine, simple. So any function, if we consider this function to be z, any function to be maximum or minimum, the only and one condition is that the value of dz d lambda will be equals to 0. So what you have to do, you have to just differentiate it and make it 0. And at this particular 0, when lambda will be equals to lambda m, lambda max, differentiate it. Trying to differentiate it, you will finally reach to a value 1 minus e to the power minus hc by lambda kt minus hc by 5 lambda kt equals to 0. If you finally write the right hand side to be 0, instead of lambda you can write lambda m. Lambda can be written or replaced with lambda m. So you are ending up with a relationship e to the power this exponential minus x equals to x by 5, where the value of x equals to hc by lambda kt. These type of equations are known as transcendental equation, and the transcendental equations are generally solved with the help of mapping. Mapping is what? Directly it cannot be solved. Finally we have to consider that y equals to this x by 5, then we have to consider y equals to 1 minus e to the power minus x. Then we have to plot the graph. Suppose y equals to x by 5, y equals to mx is giving you one graph like that, and e to the power minus x is giving a graph like that. So the intersection point is the solution. With the help of mapping, this transcendental equation, if be solved, you will be getting the value of x equals to 4.9651. That is a constant. So we are getting the value of x equals to hc by lambda kt. This is constant. If it is constant, obviously it will be m. So we can write lambda m into t equals to another constant, because this hc and k, these are already a constant quantity. So lambda m into t a constant, this is nothing but means displacement law. Last but not the least, you can get back to Stephen's law of radiation from Planck's law. Stephen's law is what? Stephen's law tells that the total energy density of radiation will be equals to E sigma T to the power 4. Fourth power, it will be proportional to fourth power of the temperature. So now I will write the Planck's law of radiation in terms of frequency. So E nu d nu will be equals to 8 by h nu cube by c cube into 1 by e to the power h nu by kt minus 1 d nu. If you want to calculate the total energy of radiation, you have to just integrate it. Integrate E. So I am writing it E prime the energy of radiation within the range 0 to infinity. You integrate E nu d nu. So the constant terms will come out of the integration, that is 8 pi h divided by c cube, that will come out of the integration 0 to infinity nu cube d nu divided by 8 to the power h nu by kt minus 1. Integrate this, you will be getting 8 pi h by c cube, then kt by h whole to the power 4, 0 to infinity xs cube into dx is the power x minus 1. If you consider now x equals to h nu by kt, putting the, just changing the limit, you will get this, and finally you will be getting 8 pi h by c cube into kt by h whole to the power 4 into pi to the power 4 by 15. Total energy of radiation U will be equals to E prime C by 4. So the value of E prime, already yes, E prime C by 4. So one C will cancel out, and 4, this will be twice pi h by c square k to the power 4 t to the power 4 divided by h to the power 4. So 1 h cancels out, it will be h cube into pi to the power 4 divided by 15. So you are getting E equals to sigma t to the power 4, but the value of sigma equals to twice k to the power 4 pi to the power 5 divided by c square. 1 c will cancel out here, this will be c square h cube into 15, like this. So you can get back to the Stephen's law of radiation follows from Planck's law. So that is all for today's lecture. Next we will continue with the applications of quantum mechanics and the emerge of quantum mechanics, that we have found now two types of mechanics. One is for big mass and small energy, that is quantum classical mechanics. Another one is small mass and high energy, that is quantum mechanics. So next day onwards we will try to see some other aspects where there was the failure of classical mechanics to describe the new physics, and new type of mechanics like quantum mechanics started to merge, and of course in association with statistical mechanics. Thank you.